Hi, welcome. So in the previous video, we looked at functions and also we are looked at loops. So what usually happens at times you start writing your function and then you get errors. And that is why we are going to talk today about this try and except, which will help you capture the errors in your function or in your code in general. So before going to that, I would like to introduce you to the input function because I know it's a beginner series. So let me introduce you. We're going to use it here to test our code. So please enter your name. So this is how the input function works. You just run this and then it's going to prompt the user to input something, and then when you input it, okay, that's fine. So let's just do that. Remember, you can run the code from here or you can run it from here. Let's just run it from there. So it asks me, please enter your name. So I'm going to write Cyril and I press enter and the process is finished. Everything is fine. So what logically could we do? We could store this in a variable, so which means we give it a variable name, then now we print now that variable after it has been entered. Okay, so now let us run this again from here. Let's run this. Enter your name, Cyril, press enter. Now it prints out Cyril. That's fine. Okay, so we are going to use this input function to test some errors here and then use try and except to capture those errors. Okay, so let's take this off. Okay, imagine that you're traveling a distance. So we'll say you're traveling from somewhere, maybe one town to another. So we'll say distance covered. Distance covered. Let's just put 100,000. Then now we say, what is the time taken? We want to know so that we can calculate your speed. Time taken. Then now, which means that this will be an input. So you need to tell us, please enter the time taken. So we need you to enter that, and then we will be able to calculate now the speed equals to distance covered divided by time taken. So we can now tell you print f string and say your speed was, now we tell you now what your speed was. Your speed was the speed. So okay, good. So now let us run that. So we run this. Okay, see what's going to happen here. I'm going to enter maybe 100. Okay, so we get this first error, which is the type error. So this also, I want you to understand this error. So this error is talking about is the problem between integers and strings. So while I entered 100 for the time taken, that was an integer, but because of this input function, which says please enter the time taken, this is a string. So it assumes that what I enter here is another string. So the 100 was considered as a string, and then when it tried to divide now this speed equals to distance covered over time, it could not divide 100,000 by a string. So that is why you got that error. So the solution to that is, remember we looked at how to change variable type, so is to cast it to become an integer. So we say int. So all of that, what comes out from that, whatever we put inside here, force it to become an integer, so that when we divide this, we will not have this kind of error between integers and strings. So let us run that now, and then we get, please enter the time taken, take 100, then we press enter. So now you see your speed was that is the speed you took. Fine. Okay, now let's start throwing in some errors. So now I'm going to run this, then instead of entering, I'll just put ABC. Okay, and enter. So you see I get an error. Now the error says this is a value error, invariant lateral for int, so ABC. So that's the problem. So it's a value error. Okay, we'll come back to that. So now the first thing you want to do is you put your try, and then remember our blocks, we always have to have that indent to show that this is under the try. Remember that this is under the try. Then what if you get an error? Then now you put except. So think of it like your if else. So when you try this, if it doesn't work out, you see an error, then this is what you should do rather than printing this and breaking maybe the whole code. So we are going to say print, please, or we're going to say wrong input. Let's say so. Okay. So now let us run that. So we are going to put again our ABC, run it. So we get here, name speed is not defined. So let me come here. You see, we have speed is not defined because of the fact that we can't print this speed. So if we silence this out, then we run it. Okay, put our ABC, enter, we get our wrong input. So that is our what we get here. So we cannot proceed to speed because it is not defined. Here we cannot divide that by a number. So you see the code is okay now. Okay, so let us move on then now. So let me put, I could have taken 0 time to cover this distance. So what if I put 0? Let's put 0 and see. So I'm going to run that again, and then I put 0 here, press enter. Okay, it's giving me wrong input, but then this is not necessarily wrong. Okay, this is not necessarily wrong. So if, for example, I didn't have this try and accept, if I didn't have this try and accept, I comment them out. I comment them out, I run it like that. So if I run this, then I put 0 here, see what I get. I get another error, which is 0 division error. Remember when we run it, look at the error, 0 division error, division by 0. The last time when we ran it, let me run it again with the ABC and you take note. So let me run it with the ABC, run it. You see now it's value error. So you see there are different types of errors, and that is why in Python we always advise you to capture the specific error so that if, for example, we have this which is value error, what do we say? We have value error, value error, just okay, value error. So what do we say? Please enter an integer. Okay, now we copy the same thing here, we paste here, so we can have now several except we have this other one now which says except. Now if we go back to the 0 again, remember it was 0 division error, I could run it again, and then you see, let me just pull this one down, so I could run it again. So you see, so I'm going to run this, then I'm going to put 0 again so that you get the error directly from there. 0, enter, 0 division error, copy it just exactly as it is. Now we paste it here, 0 division error here. So now we can now say that please enter a value above 0. So we are clear with the message of the error, enter a value above 0. So now we can now open this up, then we don't need this one down again here, so we don't need this. Okay, so let us now go on now with this. Let's just leave this one, the speed, the value. Then we run now our try and accept, keep our indent. Now let's run it. So let me put my ABC again, ABC. Okay, you say it tells me please enter an integer. So now I know, okay, the problem is with the letters, is because I didn't enter an integer. Now let me run it again. Then I put, maybe I traveled 0, my time was 0, I run it again, you see they say please enter a value above 0. So you should always try to capture the exact error. In Python, the good is not just good to just leave the error and just bare like that without, for example, like it was like this, let me just cut this. like it was like this. It is capturing every kind of error. There's just so many types of errors, so it's always good to be precise with your error. So you clearly say, try this, and if you get this specific value error, print this specific message, and if you get this specific error, which is zero division error, print this other message. That's why when you'll be doing your testing, you'll be able to find out all the possibilities of errors that you could get from your code, and you're going to improve your debugging skills and your ability to capture all your errors in your code. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next video.